Hey guys, welcome to our channel. I am Rissa.
And I'm Shaq.
This is Serenity and Symphony,
Hey.
and welcome to the Como Family channel. So this is our first video, and in the first video, we wanted to just initially we wanted to do a labor and delivery vlog, but yeah, that didn't work out.
No.
So we're just gonna kind of do like a little story time of our experience with labor and delivery. You know, this is the girls are 2 weeks old now, and yeah, it was an experience. You know, we are both first-time parents, and it was just an experience. So
Alright, so basically what happened was I think it was maybe like 2 days or a day before we actually went to labor and delivery. Before, well, we didn't know.
No, that was before. We can go back to before I got put on bed rest when I first started seeing blood.
Okay, I don't remember what that was, but that's kind of faint to me. I don't remember that.
Okay, so I'll just start it right here. Okay, so before we went into labor and before we went into active labor, I like 2.5 weeks before they put me on bed rest because I woke up one morning and I seen some blood and I was scared because I didn't know, what was going on.
Yeah.
So I called Shaq. He was at work.
At work, working. Like, I'm in the zone, like.
And it was like 6 something in the morning. I think it was like 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I go to work early.
And I was I was scared, so I was like, we need to go to the hospital. So I was 32 weeks. Was I 32 weeks in? Oh yeah, I was 32 weeks in.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
And we went to the hospital. They said that I didn't have any. They checked my urine and everything. I didn't have any blood in my urine.
Yeah.
My water wasn't breaking or anything, so they just kind of like monitored me for a little while and then sent me back home and told me to be on bed rest.
Yeah.
Because they said it was probably because of the pressure of the baby sitting on my bladder, so then, which was Serenity sitting on my bladder. So then I was on bed rest like the end of January. Is when I got put on bed rest at 32 weeks. And then the day before, I was like 33 weeks and 6 days, and I started seeing bleeding again. So we went back to the hospital.
Yeah.
So we went back to the hospital, and basically they said the same thing. It's just pressure, and they went ahead and gave me a steroid shot. Because I guess, it was seeming like, okay, these girls, they trying to come for real. So they was trying to...
This is the plan that happened. These two, they plotted together. She didn't want to be on bed rest because she acted like she was bothering me every time she asked me to do something. But I really didn't mind. But she was like, no, it's the way you coming off, da-da-da-da-da. But it's a story for another day. I don't care. But go back to what you were saying.
They gave me a steroid shot for their lungs.
Yeah.
And
that worked pretty good, too.
Yeah, they gave me steroid shot for their lungs that day and the last time they also gave me medicine to stop my uterus from contracting, and they gave that to me again this time when we went back at 33 weeks and like 6 days, and they gave me the shot, and then I had to go back the next day, which was a Saturday, and that's when I hit 34 weeks, and we had to get the second dose of the steroid shot that helps with their lungs to develop, since they were trying to they were trying to come, and they just wanted to make sure that they were just trying to hold out as long as they can, like the nurses and the doctors. They were trying to hold out as long as they can. So it was a blessing that we had got the shots, because I think that's what kept us out of having to go to the NICU. And so, what are you doing? Licking your lips and stuff.
Who?
You.
Huh?
You.
Come on, let's dry.
You just like,
My lips dry.
So, so that was Saturday, and then on Monday, I woke up. Well, I really didn't sleep for real, like
at all.
That Sunday and Monday, I really didn't sleep for real. So I was up at like 4, and I was just hurting, and I kept on telling Shaq, I was like, I just don't feel right. Like, I was like, I just don't feel right. Like, I wasn't really, I mean, like, I was, around that time, I started really paying attention to, like, if I was having contractions, because, you know, it seemed like the girls were trying to come, but they wasn't really hurting for real. Like, my stomach would tighten up, and I would, you know, just put that down in the notes in my phone, like, as this is a contraction. But, it really wasn't hurting for real then. So I just didn't feel right. Like, I don't know how to really explain it. I just didn't feel right. And so then about 6 o'clock that morning, about 6:45, I went to the bathroom. I used the bathroom, but then I just kept on leaking. And I was just like, you know, like,
Luckily, I happened to be off that day. Because we were supposed to have, we were supposed to go to like a doctor's appointment or something.
Yeah, we had a doctor's appointment at 1. Like, I had another doctor's appointment at 1.
I was in denial the whole time because we already went to the hospital twice already, right?
Yeah, and I was like, what is this? But I just kept on leaking, so I was like, I was thinking, like, you know, my water got to be breaking. But then I was thinking, like, you know, some people say that when your water breaks, it's like a gush that comes out, like a big gush that comes out. And it wasn't like that for me. It was just like I just kept on leaking, and I couldn't stop it. Yeah. And so I had called my mama. And she was like, well, do you think it's your water breaking? And I was like, I don't know, I guess. I don't know. But Shaq was just like, no.
That's pee.
That's pee.
Look. And then she called me. Oh, this explicit part. She called me to the bathroom. So I woke up in the bathroom. She was like, smell this. So I'm like, what? I'm not about to smell your pee. So I'm like.
Because I couldn't tell if it was, like, you know, the fluid or pee. I couldn't tell, like, what was the smell. But it just, like, it was just crazy because I was like, oh, Lord, my water breaking probably. And so then, so we was kind of just going to like wait it out and see if I was having contractions because we really didn't know what was going on. But then when I came back, I was still just leaking. I had changed my clothes, and then I came back and sat down, and I started, like,
bleeding?
I started bleeding because when I got back up, I seen on the little sheet that I had on the little couch that was my bed during bed rest, I seen that I had some blood there, and I was like, oh Lord, like, we need to go, you know. So
bro, when we moved so fast. I'm talking about get out of there, and we was just on the way to the hospital from that point. And it was in the morning, huh?
Yeah, it was like 6:45.
Yeah,
and so when we got to the hospital, they checked my blood, checked my urine, all that stuff, and then they checked to see if I had amniotic fluid leaking, which they had just checked that Saturday, and I didn't. And they was like, yeah, you know, your water is breaking. Like, you know, my doctor was like, the nurse came back in and was saying that my doctor was gonna make the decision because, you know, I'm 34 weeks and 2 days, and at my hospital, they don't have NICU. They just have like a specialty care nursery or something but they don't have NICU. So she was like, she'll make the decision. I had to get an ultrasound, and she was gonna make the decision if I was gonna have to stay and if I was gonna be able to stay there or have to go to Birmingham, which is where the nearest hospital with a NICU at. And that's neither one of us wanted to do that.
That's stressful, yo.
Cause I just that was my main prayer. I did not want them to have to go in the NICU, and I was just really thankful that they didn't, because I just did not want to have to go through that. I didn't want them to have to go through that. None of us, you know, cause that's tough. It was already tough when we had to leave them in the nursery, but
we'll get to that after we talk about labor and delivery. So after everything that happened in the mini clinic, and they said that your water had they said what it was, your water had bust? Your water broke.
They said it was still breaking.
And it
wasn't even all the way broke. It was still breaking.
And it was like, yep, they coming today. It was February 8th.
Yeah, so then they moved me to cause they had me in like a little clinic where they just kind of like monitor patients first before they admit them to the labor and delivery floor. And my doctor was like, you know, they had me hooked up to the contraction thing, and they was like just trying to see like how the contractions going so far, see how they going like by myself without having to be put on any medicine. And so, and they started getting a little bit like I started being able to feel them a little bit more. I guess like maybe it was like a mind thing because they told me that my water was breaking because I really wasn't feeling them at first. But then they started to get a little bit stronger. But then when they gave me Pitocin and they started increasing it, like what was it, like every 30 minutes?
The contraction
like
started.
It was like every hour.
Yeah,
it was 2 hours. It was like every hour they would increase it.
Yeah, and then it got like
that. Like the Pitocin made the contractions come a lot quicker. But I was only at, when we went in, I was only at a 1, and I had been at a 1 since for a few days.
Yeah, for a few days it was just 1.
Yeah, I was at a 1 for a few days, and so yeah, dang, I be losing track of my.
You was at a 1, and then you was, you know what I'm saying, just the contractions started to come more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they started to come more, and like that was like, woo, that was hurting. Like them contractions was hurting, like the Pitocin, and it's like they was coming back to back, like 1 minute apart. I'm like, dang, they don't give you no break.
No.
Like,
oh my gosh, no.
They were coming back to back, and you know the nurse kept on coming in and asked me when do I want to get a epidural, because I mean I had planned to get an epidural, and plus I don't think my doctor would have really let me go natural with twins anyway.
Heck nah, boy.
So, but I had already planned to get an epidural.
She would have passed out in that thing. Y'all should have seen her, boy. What? I'm just saying, like, you gotta think about it, like, okay, the epidural, it just soothes it out, but you was handling it like a G at first, I ain't gonna lie to you. Was.
Yeah, but like, I wasn't, like, the thing is, I wasn't really dilating fast enough.
Yeah, you
I was just, like, going through the pain, and I wasn't dilating fast enough. And so the nurse was like, once because I had only really got to, like, a 2.5 when they gave me the epidural, and I was, like, just going through the labor without the epidural for like a few hours.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they gave me the epidural, that was at like 2:30. I went from like 2 to 5, and then I went from 5 to 9 like so quick. Like it was like so quick.
Yeah, I'm talking about like 5 to 9, less than like what 10 minutes maybe.
I don't know, but it was. I don't know because I ain't really like keep looking at the time, but I just know that it was like real quick.
Yeah, we was sitting there talking, and you know the contractions were still coming, and he was like, oh, you know, just sitting there like, you know, I guess just trying to get your mind
because I wasn't feeling it at first. You know, I wasn't feeling it because they gave me the epidural, so I wasn't feeling it. But like when I got to a 9, I was like, wait, I feel pressure. Like like I felt like the pressure because like I could feel her head. Like,
and then I'm looking at the little machine. She kept asking me. She was like, "What's the number?" And I know it's coming. I'm like, you ain't even gotta ask no more. Like it was like one time it shot so high, it was like I knew it said like 120 something. I'm like, oh my God, like Jesus. Like,
oh yeah, that's when I didn't have the epidural.
Boy,
when I was kept on like another one coming. She was like,
it's coming. Oh, check the screen.
Yeah.
He was like, check the screen. I was like, okay.
Cause they were just, I just wanted to know. I make sure. I don't know what I don't know. That's just, I don't know.
Then came the time when one of them was about to crown and come out.
Yeah, so
Miss Serenity was ready. She wasn't waiting for nobody. So we had what room we went to?
We went to the OR because my doctor, the way she likes to do twin births, and I had already told her I wanted to do a vaginal delivery.
Yeah.
And both girls was head down already, so you know, like I was able to do a vaginal delivery, but she likes to go into the OR just in case, you know, just in case they need to do an emergency C-section.
And they better not cut my baby. I was like, I just kept asking God, like, please, don't cut my baby open.
Yeah.
Because C-sections, to recover from that is way harder out here. Because, hey, shout out to all the women who had C-sections. Nothing is wrong with that. You're just as much as a woman who births vaginally. But I didn't want them to cut my baby open. I ain't want none of that. You know what I'm saying? It was good. So, yeah. And so then, so that's why we had Serenity at 4:30. And, you know, pushed her out. Boy, she came out that mud straight up like, praise God. Like, I'm talking about like hands straight up to the air, feet stretched out. She probably cried. Maybe she didn't even cry like the first minute. It was like she started crying when they was wiping her off and everything.
No,
like,
she did cry.
She did?
Yeah, she better. They supposed to cry as soon as they come out.
Well, I don't know. It was.
That's to let you know that they breathing.
Look, the whole moment was
She
just.
cried as soon as she came out. Both of them did.
Look, the whole moment was just magical to me. I was hyped. Like I like, you know how most people they be like, "Are you gonna pass out once you see all the guts and all that?" It wasn't even all that. Look, I'm sitting there like, once I seen my baby coming out, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I got a little human. I got a little human. Like, oh my God, look at her. I got a little human. I like my lips. Like I was like, this is my lips." And then, yeah, whatever. Yeah, about exactly at 4:30, this girl came in this world. Not a, like maybe a couple, like 16 seconds in a minute that she came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on 4:30.
Yeah. So.
And then what happened with Symphony?
So then Symphony wasn't, her head, she was still kind of up some.
Yeah.
So they had me trying to push to bring her down, but she wasn't, and they was increasing the Pitocin to increase the contractions, like while we were still in the OR.
Mm-hmm.
And she just would not come down. Like, she just would not come down. I was getting tired, and they was like, well, you know, we'll send you back to your room to labor some more to get her to come down.
And I kept asking
because
God.
my doctor, you know, my doctor just
cut
really
her
respected my wishes, and that's why I love my doctor, and I'm just thankful that I had her and I didn't have to go to Birmingham. You know what I'm saying? Because she just respected my wishes, and I don't know what them folks would have done in another hospital. They might have you know, been like, well, let's just go ahead and take her, you know, and you know, cut me open or whatever. But she didn't, and so like I had to go back to my room. And they increased the Pitocin, and I started having more contractions, and I started feeling a lot of pressure. Like, I felt a lot of pressure. I just kept on saying, I don't understand how she ain't down enough, because I feel like I feel her head. Like, I kept on calling the nurse, and I'm telling her, well, the nurse didn't really leave the room that much. She would leave the room, but she would come right back.
So like,
and I just kept on feeling like, I was like, man, like, what if she slip out? Like,
no.
Because I just felt like, I felt like,
she was not gonna slip out.
You know, and I'm already open, you know, from pushing out one baby. I was like, Ali, because I just feel like I felt her head for a long time, but they just kept on saying she was not down enough. And so, yeah, we started pushing at like 6 something, and she came at 6:11. And so I was like, gosh, is that normal for twins to be that far apart?
1 hour and 40 what?
1 minute.
41 minutes, yep.
Yeah, so that's like a
in
long
15
time.
seconds, I've seen it. Yep. So I say, and Daddy cut both of them umbilical cords. I cut one in the little room where they thought she was gonna have a C-section at, and I cut the other one while we was in the in our room. So they was born in 2 different rooms, you know what I'm saying? So it was, it was like I'm talking about like when Symphony was coming, she was born at 6'11", she the youngest. I'm talking about like, I had to like, I'm just, you know, I'm looking at her and she get under this pressure, so I'm about to dip outside, you know, see what's going on. One of the nurses came in, so I guess she seen what was going on. She was like, yep, it's time, this, that, and the third. So I'm talking about like a whole team of nurses, everybody who was up in the other delivery room just burst through the door. I'm like, dang, like, you know, like, I'm like, dang, like, you know, her mama could have been here, you know, this COVID thing going on. They had like 8 nurses up in that mud.
Yeah, just in case, you know, just in case I had to have a C-section.
Yeah, I know that, but still.
I had to have the people prepared. But my mom and daddy and my sister and his mama was all on FaceTime.
Yup.
The whole time.
Sharing on, boy, it was a whole squad. It was like, you got it, Rissa.
Yeah, they were like, push.
You got it,
I was
Rissa.
like, oh my God.
But yeah.
I know I was looking crazy.
Nah, she had this bonnet on. She was like, I just wanted to get my hair done. I'm like, you ain't worried about no hair done. Just about the babies. And 2 beautiful pieces of heaven just came that day, and we had no idea that it was coming. That day, like, just to backtrack to what we was talking about earlier, I was so in denial that her water broke because she was just leaking. And we fast forward back to where we at. So
it's because I had already been feeling like I was leaking. Like, the whole time, like, I was on bed rest. I had just always felt like I was leaking.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, he just thought, like, it was, like, the same feeling, but,
yeah,
like, I was actually leaking. like a lot, and I like could not stop it.
That whole day was just stressful for me, and especially like after they had them, like she was able to like see Symphony because she was the second born, and like she was, I guess she was just more, I guess she had more nutrition in her, like she was just a little bigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like
But they took both of them like real quick and took them to the nursery, and
they did.
Since they was they're preemies.
Preemies, yeah.
So like we didn't really get to see Serenity until the next day, and then I was so out of it because I lost blood and ended up having to get a blood transfusion the next day, and oh my God, the worst part was
that medication?
When they was pushing on my stomach after I had the baby.
I don't want to talk about it.
That was the worst part, and like they don't tell you about that. They were trying to get the blood clots and stuff out.
Get everybody who said nothing about that. Because my baby was in pain. Like that was
I'm like, dang, that hurt. Like I was really like I was holding on to the bed.
You couldn't even react.
Like
you was just
I was trying to I feel like I couldn't breathe. I was trying to I was trying to get out of there. Like I was like, why are they doing this to me? But yeah, cause they push on the stomach a little bit, and then you have to push out the placenta, and then they had to push out blood and blood clots and stuff, and I ended up losing a lot of blood because I had to get a blood transfusion, and then I started shaking. Like I don't know if that was like a reaction to like the epidural, because I think that happened when they took the epidural out. That's when I started shaking.
Yes, and I kept asking the nurse. I'm like, hey, I'm talking about, I knew I was getting on this lady nurse. I'm like, I know you knew what you do at your job. This your profession. This, that, and the third. But I'm talking about like literally every 3 minutes I'm asking them like, when she gonna stop shaking? When she gonna stop shaking? Like in the first 20 times I asked her, she didn't give me an estimated time. Then probably 30 minutes passed, 10 minutes after the 20 minutes of me asking her passed. She was like, well, in about 20 more minutes it'll probably stop. I'm talking about from the time, it had to be by it was 8 o'clock at night or something like that. Or 6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what time it was, but I just know that for a fact.
I was 6.
Well, yeah, it wasn't 6. It had to be about 8 o'clock at night because I was like, man, so what's up? And then when she told me 20 minutes from the moment it said 8:01, I was hawking that clock down. You know what I'm saying? If she didn't feel better in the next 19 minutes, I was gonna go get this nurse. Hey, you need to come do something about this because, I was just scared the entire time for her because one, her body going through a lot as it is, and I know her blood pressure probably shot up because your body is in so much shock and pain. You know that, and it just didn't sit right with me. I just wanted her to feel better.
My blood pressure was high. Just about the whole time, until they discharged me. I had a temperature of 102. I was just kind of. And then the next day they gave me the blood, and they gave me the Benadryl with the blood, I guess just in case I had a reaction or something. And so that had me sleepy. And the next day they have so many people coming in. The pediatrician came in and was talking to me. I couldn't really stay up. I was trying so hard to stay up to hear what she was saying. But I couldn't. And then the lady, the people about Social Security cards and birth certificates, their insurance.
We wasn't hearing none of that.
All these people talking about all this important stuff, and I could not stay up. I was like, oh my God.
You was drugged out, boy.
Yeah, but I don't know. It was definitely an experience. And so we didn't get to see Serenity until the next day, and then they let them come in the room because, preemies, because Serenity, when she was born, she was 4 pounds, 1 ounce, and Symphony was 4 pounds, 12 ounces. And so it's hard for little preemie babies to keep their temperature up. So they had to keep them monitored with that.
Yeah.
They had to keep checking Symphony's blood sugar because it was low at first.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't drastically low.
Yeah, it was just very little lower than what an actual baby's supposed to be.
Yeah, so they kept on checking that, and Serenity, she had, when she first came out. They had to hook her to the heart monitor because she would
Hold her breath.
she would hold her breath.
Like she going swimming or something. Like, what you doing? Like, nah.
Yeah.
Come on, game start, life, man. Like, let's get it. Like, what you talking about?
So yeah, I guess like like what is it, like sleep apnea or something?
I don't know.
So I don't know, but they had her hooked up to the heart monitor or whatever, and she didn't stay on that long. And so the next day, they was able to come into the room with us.
Yeah, it was so excited.
Symphony stayed for a little bit, and then the lady, the nursery nurse came in and checked her blood sugar and said that it had got like a little bit low. Or she checked her temperature.
Yeah, it got a little low.
And her temperature had got a little bit low, so they took her back into the nursery so they could be in the incubator so they could stay warm. So they stayed at the hospital for 5 days, and we went home. We had them on Monday. We went home on that Wednesday, and that was so rough. Like it was kind of tough.
It was more rough for mom than dad, cause dad went to sleep because dad was just stressed. We really was both up, but I can tell it was really bothering her more because you gotta think about it. Like this, she's a mom, and that's her kids. Like you want to go home with your kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I guess we had to settle.
And we
that.
didn't get to spend that much time with them in the hospital.
We didn't.
Like before those days, and that first day that we stayed in the hospital, that Tuesday, I was so like out of it. So like that night, I started feeling better after I had got all of the blood. I started feeling better, and was able to go in the room and go in the nursery and see her because they wouldn't bring her because they wouldn't bring Serenity because she needed to stay in the incubator. And so like that was so crazy to me. It was like, dang, I ain't even seen my baby.
Yeah, it was so painful.
Like that was crazy.
That
but
was.
They're home now, and they only stayed for 5 days, so that's a blessing for real.
Every single day was going up there. When she bundled up, because I know, when you postpartum, you can't be all out and everything like that. Like, man, I be seeing some people, boy, they have babies. The next day, they in Walmart or something. I'm like, y'all crazy.
Yeah.
Y'all crazy. That's how y'all be getting sick and all that other extra stuff. Like, nah, with COVID and everything going on, like, y'all extra crazy. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah,
so the only thing we went straight to the hospital. We seen our babies. I'm talking about we would try to like plan our day. We just ended up being there like almost all night, and then we would leave till almost 9 o'clock every night. Right when we finally get tired, so we can just drive back home. But hey, we didn't care. We wanted to be near our babies, so it was like
and I was pumping, because they told me to pump every 2 to 3 hours. So I was trying to make sure like I'm pumping a lot through the night and in the morning, so when I go, I can take them a lot of breast milk, and it started coming in better because they say it's a supply and demand type thing. So if you keep on pumping, I was actually able to pump them a lot and get them a lot of milk. So that was good because of course that helped them because they had mommy's milk, and they also they're also on like some formula that's high calorie formula for premature babies.
Yeah.
So I think all of that is helping, and they're gaining weight as they should. And they're keeping their temperatures. We check their temperatures like
every 6 hours.
Every 6 hours, and if we want to check it in between, then we do. We got us a little board.
Yep.
That we keeping track of everything. Because
cause you gotta think about it. This twins and like. Yeah,
and I might be a little extra with the board, but
who cares?
It helps.
It do
a lot.
Cause we'll lose track of time and stuff like that, and sometimes we'll take a nap while they taking naps, and
we just need to know when was the last time they ate.
Yep.
And that's on the board. When the last time I pumped, so I can make sure that I'm doing that every 2 to 3 hours. Stuff like that.
Every time they peep, every time they poop.
Yeah,
all that.
We need to keep check on that too. Because make sure they pooping and peeing as they should. Because, I don't know. Might just be a little extra, but
no,
it's 2 little babies. I might forget. Exactly. Or I might get them mixed up.
And then when I go
and
back
say,
to work,
one of them peed and the other didn't, or one of them pooped and the other did. I might just get confused. So if I just write it all down, I definitely won't forget. because I can go back and look at it. So that was the point of that, and it helps a lot.
Children are gonna condition you to do what you have to do. So my thing is, I say everybody out there, you know what I'm saying, who think about having kids, be careful because they can come in twos. Cause like, there's twins that run in my family, and like, you know, part of her family too. But I have a lot of them in my family, and never I would thought they're like, hey, you know, like I'ma holler at her, and then like, dang, I just threw twins up in her, like, you know, like.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm a
All right, say what you said again, because that was gonna be in the video. That's so loud.
It is, but like I thinking like I'm gonna holler at her, and then you know just throw two twins up her and just dip. Like nah, that don't work like that. Like you know, like
and just dip.
Thank God for Miss Symphony and Miss Serenity. You know, big sister, little sister, and maybe we'll do a video about like, you know, how their personalities are and just kind of keep up with their weights and, you know, really, you know, how much they're eating and, you know, just, they, you know, so far they just been night and day for real. And, you know, it's...
Like sometimes they night and day.
Yeah, but...
And then sometimes they be like on the same schedule.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they're not. Like they just ate at the same time.
Yeah.
But then sometimes they be like an hour apart. It just depends. Oh, my back hurt.
Yeah. But for the most part, though, yeah, it's like it's more pros than cons in parenting. But the cons can seem very challenging. Yeah, you're gonna have lack of sleep. Yeah, there's gonna be times where, you know, they might whine and you don't know what's going on. You just might just have to hold them, you know, stuff like that. But all the pros to, like, I could be like dead tired and not get no sleep all night, or she could just be tired. But the second we see them or lay our eyes on them, like all that negative stuff just go out the window, and you just want to just take care of them. You know what I'm saying? Especially the fact of the matter that they're twins, they're two babies, like, and then I catch her, she just be looking at them consistently, like I made two babies. Oh, your hat coming off, girl. You just be, and this one, she don't like you touching her, no nothing. You hungry? Come on, let's go.
Yeah, so
that's gonna conclude the video for today.
Yeah. And so we'll have more videos. So make sure that y'all subscribe to our family channel, and
gonna do that.
And we will see y'all in the next video.
Yeah.
Bye.
Deuces.